Collins and HenricK, the rat bring the chaos. Gaming news and industry talk, they got it all. Rage quitting, head banging, it's a metal brawl. Mental meltdown, gaming in flames. Chris and HenricK bringing the thunderous rage. Video games and viral content. Better games, ripping through pixels, the ultimate game to get around. The ultimate. Dream over, I'm feeling the rage. Chris Collins and HenricK on the stage, talking gaming news. Industry that can't escape. We're reviewing video games, no need to debate. They bring the heat, spitting truth non-stop with fiery words. They're ready to drop, making waves in the world of video games. Collins and HenricK, they don't play no games. From console wars to DLC scams, they expose it all, making sure no one jams. The audience fired up, ready to explode. When rage quits on, you know it's a code. You know it's a code. When rage quits on, you know it's a code. Rage quit. Rage quit. I'm losing my mind. Chris and HenricK, they're talking gaming all the time. Rage quit. Rage quit. It's a love-hate affair, but I keep coming back. Ain't nothing else to compare. Rage quit. It's a love-hate affair.
What's raging, gamers? Welcome to the season 10 finale of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK the Wreck?
I'm so excited to be here, Chris. It's the season finale. We can talk
Right.
about some stuff tonight. That's going to be amazing.
Oh, it's the gift that keeps on giving, and I'm
Yeah.
very much excited, too, for the holidays, because you know what that means. Usually under the Christmas tree, there might be some gaming hardware. There might be some,
True.
physical copies that will, endeavor your whole entire winter break. But we are here to deliver on all kinds of goodies, and that is Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. And we can't thank you, the listeners, for always tuning in live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, this show would not be possible. And we just want to take a moment for anybody that hasn't liked, shared, subscribed, hit the notification bell on our YouTube channels. This QR code will lead you directly to mine, and you got the homeboy, HenricK the Wreck.
Yes, my QR code. Go ahead and scan that one as well while you're at it, and then go ahead and also comment on some videos. Let me know how I'm doing, and I'm gonna be looking out for them. All right.
That's right. And this show is very much live. So go ahead and join the chat, whether it is YouTube, Meta, or Twitch. We want to hear from you, the gamers. But let's get this show rolling because we always like to start off the show with the bang and show you guys a lot of viral content that is circulating all across the World Wide Web. So let's get it. The Red Bull Tetris World Final just set a new world record by taking the match to the sky, using over 2,000 drones in Dubai to play a live, fully playable game midair. I mean, isn't that kind of insane, HenricK? I mean, the fact that this is probably one of the most expensive hardware
Yeah.
to be able to play one of the most oldest games of eternity, it almost feels like. But apparently, gravity was the next boss fight. And this 40-year-old game with over 520 million copies sold, still finding new ways to flex on an industry obsessed with what's next. So gamers, is this the greatest legacy moment in gaming history, or is Tetris quietly reminding us it's never going away anytime soon? So let's go ahead and check out some of that gameplay.
Imagine how good it must feel to be playing that game and then seeing that huge input of the game.
Yeah, I when I watched that video clip, HenricK, I kept thinking like, why isn't that in Las Vegas? I mean, obviously we don't want 2,000 drones up in the air, but like you would think that they would have like some massive wall up against the side of a building. And you'd be paying. They could be charging $40. 40 years of Tetris. Pay $40. You want to play like the biggest spectacle that everybody on the strip can see you play. That would be pretty bitching. But let's go ahead and dive right into the comments because the first one reads, "I'm convinced Red Bull's marketing team is actually 12-year-old boys with unlimited budget. These ideas are insane. They truly are." But
yeah, they always come up with some crazy things to do.
I know. I like how they're willing to jump out of planes. So of course, if there's anybody that's gonna reach for the sky, I'm assuming it's Red Bull. Has to be, right? And then we get comments like this. "My grandfather thinking it's the end of the world." I know. How would that look like, you know, that you're seeing all these like flying blocks all colorful and you're like, I know that's not a shooting star. What could that possibly be? That would be a little frightening, right, HenricK?
Yeah, if you don't even know what the technology is, you know, living in our era of time. Yeah, it would be pretty confusing for sure.
Yeah, especially since it's like, you know, modern warfare nowadays seems like drone warfare. So when you see cool spectacles like this, you kind of go, that's cool, but a little frightening at the same time. And then comments like this that read, "I wonder what the input lag was like," with the follow-up comment that reads, "You can kind of tell by looking at him pressing the button to drop the blocks. Honestly, doesn't look too bad, all things considered." Yeah, I think it's
pretty impressive.
Really impressive. Yeah, I mean, it was really for show. It's showbiz, right? And I think it's really cool. But like the fact that we have this kind of technology today, HenricK, so freaking badass. And it doesn't just stop there. We also got another amazing clip where Calgary Flames goalie Devin Cooley is warming up for NHL games by strapping on a VR headset and facing virtual shots before he ever hits the ice because, HenricK, even goalies are grinding on practice mode now. Who would have thought? I hate practice mode in every sports game. Well, if you're using NHL Sense Arena to sharpen those reactions off the ice, I think this officially ruins that argument that video games are just couch activities. Wouldn't you say, HenricK?
I mean, I think a lot of VR games are not couch activities, to be honest, though.
Yeah, right. There's a little bit of DDR movement in there. But here's the question for you, gamers. Are games becoming the new training facility, or is this just the cleanest excuse yet to say, "Coach, I was just practicing. Take it easy, all right?" So let's go ahead and roll the clip.
Yeah, as silly as it looks, that he has this headset on and he's doing these things, I'm sure it actually helps with warming up. So, and
Well,
practice.
think about it. I mean, gaming always increases your reflexes, right? I mean, so when you have this kind of like goalie movement to be able to kind of see that little tiny puck, I think it's really badass. I don't know how much it would work for like baseball or golf because when you're swinging on like something that's like 3 pounds, you might throw your arm out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But when you're kind of like shifting and you're trying to assess your eyeballs in a sense to get you game ready, yeah, I think it's pretty bitchin', I would say, right? So we
Yeah.
get comments like this. Checks out why the Flames are last in the Pacific. Damn. Sounds like somebody
Ooh.
who is not a fan of video games and not a fan of the Flames. But I do love this follow-up comment where, guys like, maybe that's why they're like dead last, while looking at the goalie that's first in goals against average, second in save percentage, and third in high danger save percentage in the entire league. So clearly,
Yeah.
maybe it is the VR in
Practice
the
is
end.
coming in handy for
Yeah,
him.
practice what you preach, baby. Come on now. And then you get, that's us. We're proud to have Devin as a user. NHL Sense Arena. So yeah, I think it's really badass that, video games are now not being, viewed as just fun leisure activity. It's to get you game prepped, ready to rock and roll. And I think that is super badass. And
Hmm.
I know, with this next clip that we're going to be sharing, HenricK, he is the VTuber of the year. I know the burnt peanut doesn't necessarily view himself in that crowd or posse or whatever. Oh, wow, I had a mosquito fly in front of my face. Damn you, Satan. Get out of my face. But anyways, he's out here running Arc Raiders with his player-led faction, the Bungulators. You might have heard of them. But not every Raider outside of Speranza is exactly matching the vibe check. So, with proximity chat, HenricK, I think that's one of the best features in the game. Yeah, you're going to die over and over and over again, but proximity chat, I think we need more of it in gaming.
It does turn what could be a bad experience into a fun experience for
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you're down and out. It's like, you know what? I'm going to give you a quick banter before you check me into the loaded screen. But every tool becomes fair game when things get awkward fast, including one iteration, or one interaction, I should say, that sounded like it would time traveled straight out of 2010. So, gamers, when voice chat goes off the rails, is it quick thinking part of the skill gap or just survival instincts kicking in? You be the judge. Watch closely. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Rock, paper, scissors.
So are you playing off your Xbox Connect mic?
Yes.
Xbox, turn off! Worth it. Worth it!
I remember the first time I saw that sort of trick. Yeah, that was a legendary clip for sure, and still funny even now.
Yeah, I always wonder how the burnt peanut looks like on his streamer side. Like, does he have a green screen and then he wears like a blue suit with like a hole in his mouth, like his eyes? He must be like one of the funniest person to, like, someone don't swat him, because like if he does get swatted, then the footage is gonna come out and he's gonna look so freaking ridiculous. I'm
Silly,
sure,
yeah.
being the VTuber of the year that he is. But let's go ahead and dive into the comments around this video. No freaking way this still works. Is there a possibility to make that happen, HenricK?
Yeah, I'm sure that it would still work in some capacity if you really have it set up properly.
Yeah, fair enough, right? And then it's 2025. Why would someone still use that? I think that's fair
Clearly
game.
someone does.
But then again, I remember when I first bought the PS5 console, I was like shocked that my controller had the mic on. Like, I was just like, what the fuck? I didn't even
By
plug my
default
mic
at
in
that.
yet. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden I was like, oh shoot. So yeah, I mean, gotta be careful. Thank God PS5 doesn't have that feature. I'd be screwed so many times during my Arc Raider experience. And then, based on this reaction, this was not the first time someone did that to him. Laughing out loud. Like, maybe he didn't even have a Connect mic in, but maybe he had like all those like past feelings when he was in Call of Duty lobbies during the Xbox 360 era. And he's like,
Yeah.
You know what? Screw you. It's just like quick impulse.
No one's getting me with that
No,
again.
exactly. But man, this is Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. We can't thank you, the gamers, for always tuning in live, whether it is on Meta, Twitch, and YouTube. And, you know, just because we love looking at our adorable little selves here on our QR codes, make sure you scan, show some love. Every subscribe goes a long way to reach out this show to a broader audience.
And you see this next QR code. Yeah, of course, that goes to my YouTube channel. So go ahead and go over there, subscribe, like some videos, and leave me some comments.
That's
All
right. And that's why it's super important, even during today's live airing, to join the conversation. We want to hear from you, the gamers. But HenricK, the show must continue. Are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Oh, yes. It's time to get our hands dirty with a JRPG classic. Or is it a classic?
Ooh, let's get it.
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is Octopath Traveler 0. As the name would suggest, this is a prequel game to Octopath Traveler 1 and 2. We are revisiting the world of Ostera once again. Take control of a customizable silent protagonist and fight back against the three main antagonists of the game. Each villain represents wealth, fame, and power respectively, and they reap destruction on your hometown, leading you on a path to facing them. Unlike previous games, your customized player character is going to be in your party throughout the whole game as you follow the many companions. The game, however, tries to keep the identity of the gameplay that the series is known for. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
Is this game not just a modern throwback? I mean, we've got the last one, Octopath Traveler 2, but they just always nail the aesthetic of like modern JRPG pixel art, and it's always really, really nice to look at. Don't you agree, Chris?
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's one of the more unique openings for a video game, especially when it opens in total silence. It drops like a poetic note about becoming anyone and going anywhere, and then hands you the pin and says, "Make yourself." And that's where, for the first time in this series, you are the protagonist, customizing everything from your look to your voice to even your favorite dish. Which, HenricK, I gotta say, I spent an embarrassing amount of time on it was some kind of personality test. I needed it to be so right. And then, did you find yourself making yourself as the pixelated character, or did you just go completely off the rails?
No, I just did something that wasn't entirely me. It was maybe reminiscent of me, like a fantasy idealized version of myself, I guess you could say.
Right.
Then again, though, I did choose pickles as my favorite food, and I like pickles in real life, but not that much.
Yeah, I mean, you start from nothing. You basically have to pick a childhood skill, and then you choose from like 3 sentimental belongings, and then you step into the world as a complete unknown with this main character energy waiting to happen. And then that's where I kind of wonder, like, how were you vibing with the idea that there isn't an established character to play, and then you are given this kind of creative choice to mold the story? Did you feel like that was a smart move, especially for a prequel?
Yeah, it is an interesting choice to divert away from what the series has done before. So I appreciate the risk that they took, but there's definitely pros and cons when it comes to that sort of thing, because like with the previous games, you're playing as a character that's already crafted by the developers, and they kind of have an idea of what they want to tell for the story for the character. Whereas when you're the character, like you made the character from scratch, you almost put yourself in the shoes of that character in a different way, and you can get a little bit more of a bond with the character, though at the same time the rest of the game has to follow suit and be on the same level of storytelling. And sometimes I'd say, it was pretty good about doing that. But at the same time, this is a very long game.
Yeah. Oh, it's really long. It's too long.
Yeah, and when there's characters that get introduced that are in such a long game and I don't really care about them by the time that they're done with their
Yeah.
storyline, that's a little bit of a problem, don't
Yeah,
you
I think
think?
like I think some old school gamers will be okay with it. I mean, especially since we grew up with like Pokemon games. It's not necessarily like they're dropping you in as Ash Ketchum. You are the
Mhm.
Pokemon trainer, and so that's where some of that nostalgia kicks in. I thought it was a little strange, but then I get where they were going for because really with Octopath Traveler Zero, it's really about gamer freedom in a sense. And,
Mhm.
yeah, things go from this cozy village to absolute devastation fast when, Wishvale, the city that you are born in, is destroyed by those powerful figures who show up, hunting rings. Lord of the Rings. No, I'm
Yep.
just kidding. And then,
No, I immediately thought Lord of the Rings with the
well,
premise of
I
hunting these
mean, what's crazy too is like 22 years ago today, Lord of the Rings: Return of the King came out. That's why I thought of that when we
Oh,
were
wow, actually,
prepping for the show.
that's a good point.
So I was like, I feel like we've heard these stories before, but then your parents are killed. The Ring of the Flamebringer makes you a ring bearer, and then all of a sudden you're on this long road collecting divine bling and untangling human greed across multiple chapters. And so, Henrik,
Mhm.
does this chosen one setup still hit for you, or does it feel like familiar territory with like this fresh coat of paint in a sense?
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of JRPGs from the era that they're trying to emulate. Like
Yeah.
my immediate thought is the Golden Sun series, which is one
Oh,
of my
yeah.
favorite series from the GBA, and it does a pretty good job at emulating that. But at the same time, I also couldn't help but feel at times like the game didn't really respect my time. And I get it, when you're looking back at games from the era that it's emulating, I mean, a lot of those games kind of didn't always respect your time because they expected you to have nothing else to play but that game.
It kind
So
of
you had
sounds like
almost
a
no
mobile
choice.
game, wouldn't you say, Henrik? Which,
Right.
I think.
Which is going to be my next point. This kind of it is a retelling of the mobile game Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent.
Right. And
So
when has mobile
you
gaming
have
ever
that.
respected your time? You know what I mean?
Exactly. So that's what I was getting at. If it's a mobile port in a sense, not
Yeah.
really a port, but like directly a port, but it
Yeah, they
has the
expand
mobile
on it.
flair to it at the same time.
Yeah, very true. And they took a risk this time around. You used to have four character, battles, in between. Now they increased it to 8 characters that are in the battle.
Mhm.
So that's like, and then you get that option to be able to constantly swap out party members to exploit, weakness, heal, buff, and then, turn chaos into control. And, yeah, you have the 4 in the front, 4 in the back, and you constantly keep swapping them out. So there is that like bit of like playful rhythm to the
Yeah,
fights.
and that is a fun mechanic to have that many characters on the field at once from your side of the field at least. But I also felt like they could have utilized it a little bit more than and they didn't actually utilize it. It was like not that many times where I felt forced by the game to change up my style in
Yeah.
fights. And what I mean by that
Till you
is
get to the
like
very end, I
there's
would say, but
exactly like towards the end, there's fights you'll go across where they'll make it so like, oh, you can't swap these characters from front to back and so forth anymore for like a couple set of turns,
yeah,
and that is something that actually is interesting to see because at that point, then I have to adapt to that. Whereas, you know, then the entire rest of the game up until those fights, I
yeah,
felt like I was just a god almost having that many characters on the screen.
yeah. And then also, I think it's important to reference to the gamers who haven't jumped into the game yet. You have over 30 travelers available. I mean, some party members I felt like were really cool collectibles, and then
Mhm.
that some of them weren't really like fleshed out. They weren't fully
Yeah.
realized companions, and that's where HenricK. It's like, did you find yourself choosing teammates for the vibes? Because that's how I felt. Like I wasn't really worried about the stats so much. And I feel like that kind of takes away from the story investment in a sense when it's just like, I can't keep track of
Yeah.
all 20, 30 of these guys. I was like, whoever can work for me works for me. I'm vibing with you. Sure. Let's grab you. I'll take you
Mhm.
on.
And it is a little bit of a detriment that they did that. Um, in some respect at least, because like yeah, everyone kind of typically in this kind of game has their set party members that they really like to just always have with them, minus maybe a couple to he has like a flex slot to swap in and out depending on the situation. And me, I was no exception to that. But then you get certain things like there's a character you need to get a support skill from to break through the damage cap.
Yeah.
Well, he wasn't actually in my preferred list of characters to party up with. So I had to go and spend all this investment time in getting that support skill so that I could actually, not do the minimum damage of 9,999 and could go beyond that. And then there's also a point in the game where you actually go up against a boss where every character you have comes out at one
Yeah,
point. And
yeah.
if you're not really playing with
Familiar
every
with
character,
it.
that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I guess that's where they're trying to utilize like every aspect of the game, and sometimes
Yeah.
I feel like the problem with the game too is like I feel like other people have said this about this game compared to Octopath Traveler 2. It feels like several games all smashed together at
Mhm.
once, but
Yeah.
for gamers that really love that signature 2.5 HD look, well, it's back. It looks really crispy with those pixel characters against those gorgeous lightings and environments that feel
Yes.
nostalgic without feeling dusty. Wouldn't you say, Henrik? I mean, there's
Oh yeah, yeah.
every
Yeah. The
town,
aesthetic is
dungeon.
unbeatable.
Yeah, exactly. Like every town, dungeon, and cutscene looks like it belongs on the Game Boy Advance, I would say. And so,
Mhm.
is this still one of the most visually charming styles in modern JRPGs, or is it starting to lean too hard on comfort?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I guess that kind of leads into the question on whether it's a pause for us or a repeat, Chris. Because I
Yeah.
mean, for me, I enjoyed it, but I don't think that it's going to be a repeat for me, which is unfortunate because I really liked one and two. So hopefully they don't do the same mistakes they did here with the next game in the series. What about you though, Chris?
Yeah, like I gave Octopath Traveler 2 a pause when we did that review, and I'm going to tell you right now, I thought the second one's better than this one. So,
Mhm.
guess what my answer is going to be? It's a pause. It feels like a love letter, stitched together from multiple eras of the franchise. Yeah, you got those deep systems, you got a strong presentation in the story that rewards patience if you're willing to live it out for the long haul. And so, does this feel like the series is evolving exactly how it should, or still kind of figuring it out with way too many travelers? That is something where we want to know from you, the gamers. Are you vibing with Octopath Traveler 0? Are we dead ass wrong? Are you like, hey man, this was for those long form RPG commitment players? Knock it off, girl. Let us know what's good. But man, we got so much more here left to discuss on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So, HenricK the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my friend?
Oh yeah, let's get that ball rolling so we can talk about some more video games.
Man, we got so much to discuss. Let's get it. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK the Wreck and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. The Game Awards 2025 came in hot, loud, and I'd say quite caffeinated. I mean, trophies were handed out, trailers rained from the sky, and by the end of the night, everyone was arguing online like it was some kind of rank match. Who would have figured? But
Yep.
HenricK, big picture first. Did this feel like a victory lap for the industry, or like another 3-hour trailer playlist with the occasional clapping?
Or as some people said, the Expedition 33 awards.
Well, I mean, when you win as big as they did, I mean, it's quite remarkable. Yeah, I mean, they kind of let it loose. I mean, obviously, their outfits were quite hysterical throughout the
Oh,
night.
yeah, I loved
really
it.
embracing, Expedition 33. I felt like it was a lot tighter of a show. I feel like they are starting to realize the significance that, Jeff Knightley has brought, towards the gaming space. And I think, 5 years from now, it really is going to start to match up closer to the Academy Awards, the Golden Globes, and the Emmys.
I think
mean,
it's already
shoot.
there, honestly.
And
Especially considering that it has such high viewership, it beats
yeah,
out those shows, those award ceremonies. And honestly, I don't see it going anywhere but up at this point, and it's already beaten the Super Bowl in terms
I
of
Isn't that
viewership. So
crazy?
that's
Yeah,
crazy.
we're talking last year's Super Bowl, okay? Or
Yeah, yeah.
and earlier in the year Super Bowl. Yeah, it's remarkable. And so, incredible night. I mean, yeah, obviously embracing the Muppets a little bit too much. I don't know what's up with Jeff and loving the Muppets, always having to crash the party. I
It's
want to
always
see him.
strange, but
It just doesn't feel like anything
it's
to do
weird.
with gaming, but hey, whatever. You know
Yeah.
what? If it's for the kids, it's for the youth, let's get it going. Or maybe it's for the Gen Xers, leaning back, smoking a stogie up against the wall while they're watching the Game Awards from their phones or Amazon Prime, because it showed up on the Prime. I mean, that's pretty remarkable to see that, they got
Mhm.
more things coming through. But let's talk about the elephant in the room that walked out with 9 statues, and you already referenced it, Expedition 33. I mean, yeah, and, people, they had to bring a forklift to carry all those awards, all right? I mean, they basically cleared the stage, grabbed Game of the Year, and kept going like the awards were loot drops. And so when you stack it to the last 10 Game of the Year winners, and shout out to Culture Crave for this awesome graphic that we could show up here on air. HenricK, does this one feel like it earned its place in the hall, or was this just the perfect storm where everything went its way? And gamers that are tuning in live, watching along, where does this land on your personal leaderboard?
When you look at this list, there's just all bangers. Like every game here is a great game. You can't really go wrong with it. Except maybe Overwatch at this point. But
I thought you were going to
even
say
then,
Astrobot.
no, Astrobot's a great game actually.
I thought it was a great game
It got
too, but
clowned yesterday, or not yesterday, last year.
last
but,
year for sure. People were pissed.
Yeah,
man.
I think when you
Pissed.
look back at it, like it's still a good game. And honestly, Expedition 33 is definitely up there as well. It's
Yeah.
a great game. It's one of the most impactful storylines of this entire year. Maybe not the best storyline, because I would say that I personally liked Silent Hill F's storyline a little more, but it's also a horror game, so it usually gets snubbed anyways. But yeah, compared to every game on this list, it definitely fits in. It doesn't feel out of place by any means.
But we're gonna turn this into a little bit of a debate. We got to figure out like what we feel like stands amongst the rest. I'm looking at this list. I love all these games. I think they're all really, really badass. I feel like my gut's telling me Zelda, and then Baldur's Gate 3 is like right up there as well. Like Baldur's Gate 3 is a massive, massive experience. People really, really love, creator free or player freedom, player's choice, that kind of a thing. And then Zelda, I mean, they really expand on that open world at the time, and it's just incredible. Like you could pop that 2017 game and be like, damn, it still holds up today.
But hot take on the Zelda Breath of the Wild, while I do believe it deserves that Game of the Year spot, I wish they went back to the old Zelda formula because like I'm missing out on the dungeons, man. Like that's one of my favorite parts of the Zelda series.
Yeah.
But it's still a good game regardless.
Yeah,
Definitely
they took
won
risk.
Game of the Year for a reason.
Yeah, I took risk, and then I can't remember the year where Red Dead Redemption 2 was in. I think that was during the God of War thing. I know a lot of people. I think it was during the 2018 time. Someone correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but I remember yeah. I mean, there's just so many great games. It's so badass to see this. But now trailers. So many trailers. I mean, Larian Studios rolls up and says, hey, remember Divinity? And then they drop that mysterious, strange, glowing monolith that we discussed live on Rage Quit, where they weeks earlier had it placed in the Mojave Desert like it was some side quest for the entire internet. People travel to the location, and then Reddit turned into like some kind of cork board with red string. And now that the reveal's official, HenricK, are you locked in, or did the mystery, do more heavy lifting than the trailer itself?
Oh no, that's going to be a game that I definitely try when it comes out immediately. I remember trying the original Divinity games. I believe I tried Original Sin 2 a while back, like way before Baldur's Gate 3 came out. And it got me, but at the same time, I feel like back then I also wasn't too locked into the CRPG genre. So considering all the funding that I'm sure they have now after Baldur's Gate 3's success,
right,
it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do and how massive the game is going to be when Divinity comes out.
Yeah, I've never played this series, so I can't really speak on it. I'm not really big on cinematic trailers. I wanted to see some like in-game footage, but I understand it's Larian Studios. They were one of the previous winners, a couple years back, and so when you see Larian Studios, how do you not get excited?
Yeah, exactly.
You know that they're going to deliver on something very, very passionate, and yeah, I think it was something fun and different. We haven't seen this in a long, long time, where it's like, whoa,
And that trailer was grotesque. I
very
loved it,
grotesque.
though.
Yeah, that's why we have to show images on screen right now.
Yeah, we can't show that.
But yeah, let's keep it rolling because Remedy also showed up with Control Resonant, a new lead. That was kind of a shocker for me. A new direction, bigger action vibes. And then you have Resident Evil Requiem that casually confirmed. I know a lot of people were excited about this, that Leon Kennedy is back. Yes, you
the
can
boy's
play
back,
as him.
but he's a man.
He's a man now. And yeah, he's ready to ruin everyone's emotional stability all over again. But HenricK, between reality-bending chaos and survival horror royalty, which reveal hit harder in the moment? And for the gamers that are tuning in live, which one made you sit up straight?
I like that they actually chose to do a different lead for the new Control game. And they seem to be going more melee focused, which is an interesting choice as well. Changes it up entirely from the first game. But I still have a soft spot personally for Resident Evil, and yeah, Leon coming back, yeah, that's pretty hype. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's easier to get more hype for Leon Kennedy, especially when you know that game's coming a little bit more closer to a reality. So I'm with you on that one. I think like to see that there's going to be like two different story takes. As you play the game, you can lean towards Leon, you can lean towards the other gal. Gosh, I'm blanking on her name
Grace.
right now. Grace. Gosh, I had a brain fart.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
HenricK. But with Control, I think it's really exciting because like we have a new a new IP amongst this series that is also going to be showing up to the cinematic universe. So that is really cool. And then we'll have to find out whether the cinematic universe is going to embrace the gaming or just build upon this universe that's now expanding.
And I think it's actually someone can correct me if I'm wrong on this because I don't have the note in front of me, but I'm pretty sure it's being directed by the same guy that did Weapons and the Barbarian. That guy is wacky. He is wacky.
Weapons was a very fun ride. I'm not really in tune with the horror movies like HenricK the Wreck is, but yeah, it's one of the better films of the year. That is for darn sure. And then you get Wizards of the Coast jumped in with Warlock, Dungeons and Dragons, going single player and open world, and then Star Wars leaned hard into the past with two reveals. Fate of the Old Republic and Galactic Racer, both tapping straight into nostalgia, especially since the last proper Star Wars racing game dropped way back on the Nintendo 64, HenricK. I mean, that's crazy. Yep. But I want to zero in on the Fate of the Old Republic. That is the poster right in the center of these three games for just a second. I mean, come on. We got the awards show. They show the trailer. Yeah, it's very cinematic, very cutscene-like. I get really hyped. But then all of a sudden we find out after the show that it's probably not going to drop until 2030. And so is announcing it this early a smart, long-game move to lock in the hype? Or does it risk, burning the excitement before players ever get their hands on it?
I see both sides of it because, clearly we have examples like Elder Scrolls 6, where that trailer got announced way too far
early
in advance.
Yeah, great point.
But I feel when it comes to this game, this might be one of the rare exceptions where I'm okay with it based entirely on the fact that me and basically the rest of the internet collectively thought that they would never return to the Knights of the Old Republic IP. And, this trailer coming out, yeah, there's still a chance of it maybe getting canceled in the next few years, like all the other KOTOR games.
Yeah.
But it brings back that excitement for a new IP in that series. And yeah, I'm excited to see. Can it be 23 already? Actually, maybe not, because I want to experience the time.
23? I don't want to go to 23. We have no computers. We have no PC. You mean 2030?
Yeah, 2030, not 23.
23 AD. All right, you're getting sent back there. You might need to play more Split Fiction if you need that. Star Wars is such a massive IP. They're clearly going to get the hype. I mean, as I'm starting to think, Grand Theft Auto 6 was like way announced way too early. But then again, they are Rockstar Games. They're going to deliver on that hype, and it's yeah. I'm kind of with you. So, are you excited? We're gonna have to soon find out. I mean, they were going to make a remake. They were going to make a remastered, and then all of a sudden that fell apart. Maybe this was the main reason all along. But then there's 007 First Light. IO Interactive finally giving us a new James Bond, which sounds great and feels great. And then, boom, the main villain reveals. And I love Lenny Kravitz, but like, oh my gosh, that trailer during the awards show, man. Yeah, he's very stylish, right? Unexpected.
Yeah.
I would say absolutely, right, HenricK? But he was just a little too stiff for me in the trailer. So, like, are you
Yeah,
giving
you can
this
tell he's not a voice actor.
Well, yeah, you could clearly tell that he came into the vocal booth and clearly some kind of motion capture actor is walking around on stage for him. It just, overall, it feels so stiff. And are you giving the benefit of the doubt, or did that reveal pull you out of the fantasy for a second?
I'm still optimistic about the game, considering the developers behind it.
Really?
I'm
I
sure
got
they'll
actually
put
really
together
concerned about
something.
it. Really?
But
Like, those
at
are the same people.
time, this is not
HenricK,
really that exciting.
I'm actually really, really concerned because these are the same people that do Hitman, and they're the ones that had, like, hey, a Conor McGregor ordeal. They had Eminem in Hitman. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
these are the
but when
same
it comes
people
to, like,
doing
the
these, like, really
gameplay-
cornball choices.
I
And
get
then they want to
that,
get
but,
another celebrity to be the main
look at the
villain. And
gameplay of Hitman, though, Chris. Like, that's always pretty solid.
we haven't seen
The
a 007
collaborations,
game in so long, and we're trusting it on a musician who doesn't act, like, at all.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, they could have hired Ice-T. You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was a bit strange. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the image right now. I mean, aesthetically, you go, wow, man, he does look pretty badass. Look at that guitar. Ooh, look at that cane. But then when you start hearing the vocal delivery, I'm like, you do not sound threatening as a Pirate King. Just saying. But the last thing was, just when everyone thought the show was winding down, surprise drop. High Guard. Yeah, this is a free-to-play player versus player raid shooter built by a new studio, Wildlight Entertainment, stacked with many veteran developers who previously worked on Apex Legends and Titanfall, launching as soon as January. So we got guns, magic, and chaos everywhere. But HenricK, does mixing futuristic firepower with that fantasy flair feel like a smart remix? Or are gamers already bracing themselves for, here we go again? Another hero shooter.
Yeah, when I saw the trailer, I looked at it like, oh, okay, I'll try this out. It might be actually pretty good. But I, in the back of my head, heard the collective groan from the internet.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not alone.
As well, of being like, man, another hero shooter. Like, how many times are we gonna get a hero shooter? Not to mention this being from some developers who worked on Titanfall. Okay.
Yeah.
You say that, and then after that, you show us this. Well, what people expect when you kind of hype it up like this big thing, Jeff Keighley, is you're going to be showing like a successor to the Titanfall series. And it was not that. So
yeah,
I get why people are upset.
Well, they're calling it Concord
upset about that
2.0.
too.
And then you got on X these developers for the new studio, Wildlight Entertainment, trying to defend themselves before the game came out. If I was the leader, I would literally shut that shit down. Stop tweeting. Stop tweeting.
Yeah.
You are leaving the gun in the holster and you keep shooting yourself in the foot. Stop
Digging that
engaging
grave
with
more
these
and more.
trolls. Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. When do we all start hating Apex Legends? When do we all start hating Titanfall? I can't stand that shit when people start judging the game before the game even drops. I hate it to the max. But yeah, I'm with you. Hero shooters don't necessarily get me excited right now, but I can't wait to play. It's free to play. After all, gamers, come on.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, I'll be trying it with the boys.
Yeah, don't get wrecked by me when I'm jumping on that polar bear and I start,
hey, you know what?
steamrolling you, Jumanji style.
You know what? If the game is bad, you'll hear from us.
You're gonna hear from us.
Right
Trust me, it's gonna be next year's one of the pause and repeats for sure.
Yeah.
But gamers, controllers down and turn towards your keyboard. All right, we want to hear from you. What game reveal got you most excited to actually play? And what was your overall vibe with the Game Awards this year? Hit us with your hot takes and let us know what's good. But all right, HenricK the Wreck, let's start to switch some gears because this went from 0 to 100 real fast.
Yep. So while the industry is just all about arguing about generative AI being in their games, one developer looked at the chaos and said, "Aha, that's really cool. So let's do all of it."
Right?
Codex Mortis is the name, and it's being pitched as the world's first fully playable game made 100%, 100%
100%.
through AI.
It's
Built
crazy.
top to bottom by a developer named Growlaugh, if that's
I
how
know.
you pronounce it.
Pretty wild name. Yeah, I know. We're probably
When-
butchering it. Do
Yeah,
you think the
probably,
AI chose the
probably.
name too? I don't know. I'm
Hey,
starting to
you know,
wonder. now.
actually, that's a good point. Maybe he did, or maybe they did. The
They did,
AI.
right.
You don't want to misgender the AI. I guess.
Yeah, I don't know the pronoun choice either, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
But anyways,
IT.
so
It's an it.
the art and the music, the text, all of it's AI, and there's a demo sitting on Steam like a science experiment, just waiting
much,
for people
yeah.
to touch it.
That's funny.
So let's go ahead and take a look. We do have some gameplay.
Let's get it. Yeah, I feel like if he approached this game with a little bit more of that HD 2.5, maybe it would have looked a little cooler. But this just like too much like, JPEG
Yeah.
moving around.
I mean, I get what they're going for. They're going for like the Vampire Survivors type of style.
Dude,
And,
yeah. Yeah.
Vampire Survivors is like that as well, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I guess it's he's going towards a niche, or maybe he stole from a niche, and I guess that's where gamers, is this a bold innovation or just the fastest way to start an internet debate speed run? Which, guess what? It did. So let's go ahead and dive into the comments. It will definitely win multiple awards at the worst game of the year. So like people are already clowning it already. They just like have no faith that 100% AI playable game is happening anytime soon. But then again, you have a
I think
demo.
It'll definitely get eyes on it. Being that it's 100%, and that's like the marketing tactic for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like they say, there's no such thing as bad publicity, and maybe he knew exactly in the height of the moment what everybody's enraged about and said, hey, let me get my 2 cents in. But then you get, damn, AI-generated content disclosure? The developers describe how their game uses AI-generated content like this. All code is AI vibe codes, also art, sounds, music, text. I mean, it is kind of wild to think that, like, again, certain technology in the past where, it would be so unimaginable for small studios to be able to do is now being able to happen in a home studio at your pad.
Yep.
And I think that is promising. Not necessarily working. Who knows? I haven't played the game yet, but just viewing it from the 30 seconds, I'm like, I can't wait to, jump on in, but I don't know if we're all quite sold. But let's keep it rolling, because I know the next comment says, can't even tell. Ooh. Can you tell, HenricK?
A little bit in like the character designs and the art style for the characters, but it is pretty convincing as not AI. If you were to tell someone that it is not AI, yeah, it could be pretty hard to tell.
I would have honestly been like, I can't even tell. Someone could have been like in a master's program, and they would have been like, yeah, this is my like thesis project to get everything going. I'm like, wow, yeah, it's starting to seem like it's developing. Keyword, starting to develop. You know what I mean? But then he goes, oh yeah, it's all 100% AI. It's all basically AI assisted text to speech kind of bullshit. And you're like, wow, that can be quite impressive. And so you get comments like this. It's impressive that AI can create worse garbage than the cheapest asset flip available. So like some people have a massive problem with how it's being used and formed, and then clearly it doesn't stop there. Slop made by a machine and prompted by humans with no creativity or originality. The end. Well, AI slop did make it into, one of the dictionary words of the year. And I mean, you do have to think it from the human cranium first and then put it into the prompt. So is that a fair assessment?
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like the idea of this game at least is not really entirely original. So
Yeah. And
yeah.
you're also putting full trust in the machine to be like, please don't, plagiarism. Thank you.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of faith in
Don't
these
get me
AI
in
tools.
trouble.
Right. And then gallons of water wasted just to play a bootleg Vampire Survivors. Oh, see, someone said the same thing too, HenricK, which runs on literal potatoes. Amazing. I know, isn't that incredible? So, HenricK, I want to toss it to you. I mean, is calling this a game actually made it entirely by AI a genuine milestone for the industry, or does that label alone put it under a microscope of it might not survive?
Seeing as how this is one of the first, if not the first, I think it's the first one that's declaring
At
at
least
least
it's declared.
that it's
Yeah, right.
100% made by AI.
Maybe some don't even
So
want to disclose it all the way yet.
that's true, yeah. So because of that, I think while it might get a lot of eyes looking at it, and it might actually be somewhat successful, it won't be maybe as successful as a game like Game of the Year kind of successful, but it'll probably stick around just
Yeah,
based
not
on
in the next
merit
10
of it being
years.
the first one.
Especially when we just
Yeah.
showed the list of the last 10 winners at the Game Awards for, Game of the Year. It's like, no, absolutely not. No way in hell it's going to be holding up anytime soon. But I do think
Yeah.
it's important to kind of shout out some of the things that we've heard from all of 2025, which, as of like kind of, recently, you think about Arc Raiders, they got a little bit of drama that was placed upon them when they had this AI assisted text to speech for their in-game dialogue. People were not happy about that. Even after the Game Awards, HenricK, some people went after Sandfall Interactive because they were grabbing from an old interview before the awards show where one of the developers basically said, like, listen, look, like, we used a little bit of AI generated textures for some posters and newspapers inside the game, which they actually forgot to take out, but then it was quickly patched right away. But some people feel like, wow, why wasn't that disclosed? But then you get others that are industry leaders, like, the CEO for Epic Games, Tim Sweeney. Remember, we discussed this where he was like,
Mhm.
I think it's a little weird that we even have to disclose that AI generated content is in a video game because the future is AI, and a lot of developers and studios are going to be embracing this. But then again, I would tell Tim Sweeney there is a reason why we have in cinematic trailers that don't show in-game play footage mirrored
Why
into
we
the
have that
text
little
on top of the image.
disclaimer.
Right,
Yeah.
because that's the same crap that I would say CD Projekt Red got a lot of gripe about when it came to the Witcher series. They're
Mhm.
like, dude, it does not add up. So
Yeah.
I mean,
It's one of those things, the label doesn't have any harm to put there. And if it has harm on a game to put it there, that means the game is just bad.
yeah.
Like, that's all it is.
Yeah, and I mean, and also think about it too. I mean, we covered it even a couple weeks back with Ubisoft. Remember, they got the Neo NPCs. They also have Jasper, that new teammate AI assisted tool where it's like, you got that one buddy that's always camping in the corner. If you're trying to play an extraction shooter and you're like, God damn it, man, stop looting. Get over here. Well, Jasper will listen to you. And maybe that might be refreshing. But then you also get a major overhaul in Electronic Arts, right? Remember, they also have a
Mhm.
aggressively mandated AI use within its own studios, and they are including a partnership with Stability AI. So is it fair to slam on this one, I'm assuming, solo developer for trying to embrace something that essentially all the AAA studios are now embracing? I don't know. I think that's really for the gamers to decide, right, HenricK? I mean,
Yep.
some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it. I think if it's playable and it's fun, it's fun. I don't care if it's got AI in it, but maybe you do. And so, tell us, gamers. I mean, is a game made entirely by AI a fascinating proof of concept, or does it risk feeling more like a tech demo than something players actually want to spend time with? Let us know what's good. But let's keep it rolling because, man, Netflix just constantly keeps showing up, in the gaming space, clearly because a couple weeks ago, co-CEO Greg Peters said that they didn't attribute any value to the Warner Brother games during the acquisition. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy, especially when
Yeah.
they were focused on those 4 key elements they wanted to tackle, right? Mortal Kombat, they wanted to, get involved in all kinds of different spaces, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter. But now they're like, game, not so much. But then you get this news, which is just incredible. Yet they're already buying movie rights to Kingmakers, the game where a medieval knights meet AK-47s and attack helicopters. Yeah, you're probably wondering, I heard about this game. Have I seen any kind of gameplay? No, you haven't. And this thing is kind of looks badass just from the poster art, I would say. Yeah, you got, wouldn't you say, HenricK, you got a little mix of castles and rocket launchers. This is a game I can't wait to jump into.
Yeah, there's like a trailer, and I think that's about it. Not anything
About it. Car
full
driving
on
through.
overview or anything like that. Yeah, it's just imagine a car going through a medieval battlefield, and then you hop out of the car and you got
Running
a gun.
over horses and medieval knights.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
sounds like a mod. No, it's a game. So gamers, is Netflix actually gearing up to play in the gaming world, or is this just Hollywood window shopping with extra explosions? And so let's go ahead and dive into those comments, because the first one reads, the game isn't out, and somehow we are already getting an adaptation. Does this kind of come across
They're
a little
looking at
sus?
that hype and being like, hey, let's capitalize on that before the game comes out. And we didn't put any value on games, so the game won't be successful.
Right? There are too
least
many
that's
G.I.
what they're
Joes,
saying.
HenricK. Too many G.I. Joes. I want a G.I. Samurai. I want, medieval, and I want to hit, ram a bunch of dudes in my Ram truck, I suppose. Or you're going to get a tank and all that other kind of wild nonsense. Yeah, I do. This does sound like something that Netflix would love to bring. And maybe the developers feel like, wow, this is an amazing opportunity to both have people excited, whether, you aren't a gamer and you love the space and you love it so much, maybe you might want to jump on and play it. And maybe Netflix is in talks about maybe potentially hosting it as on their cloud, because remember, they brought in Lego Party. I know they've been getting a little bit more family friendly, but maybe this might be that one move to push for a major announcement. But then you get comments that read, from the lead coder of Kingmakers, we've got some big announcements coming up about the video game too. So I know people were clowning them 2 months ago, where they were like, dude, you guys were promising us some new gameplay footage, and then you guys were going to have a Q&A, and then all that got halted. Maybe that's because of this new Netflix, news that we just got.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, they want to really show that they have something, I guess. And if that means them delaying it, that's what they said they got to do.
Exactly. And then this is funny, considering the game doesn't have a release date and constantly keeps getting delayed. Kingmakers said over 2 months ago, as I just said, they show gameplay with the developer talking, yeah, we're going to do it soon. And then it have to be silent ever since. There's probably a lot of board meetings. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, I honestly kind of forgot about it. But then again, it's one of the top wish-listed games on Steam right now, and it's really only for PC. Yeah. They have been hyping up that it's potentially going to show up on the consoles, and so maybe they have to take a backseat and get it ready to show up on the console, because maybe Netflix is in their ear like, dude, this could be a great opportunity for us and for you guys to be able to bring your game to our new Netflix gaming space. We will bring this to the smart TV. We will make it accessible for everybody, not just the PC community. Does that sound about something Netflix wants to do, HenricK? Or do you think, Chris, that's wishful thinking that you've been thinking at the top of the year?
Yeah, I think based on their disposition to say that the Warner Brothers games IPs that they just bought are not valuable, I don't think you should expect something like that from them.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're going to acquire it. Maybe they're not thinking about it so much at the moment. Maybe they need to hire somebody that's more in that space to kind of lead Netflix in that right direction. But yeah, they might not be in the space to want to develop video games, but maybe they will allow those studios to be able to continue to keep doing their thing and then be able to treat Netflix like a host, because clearly they see Steam and Valve coming up and they're like, damn, Steam Machine, I do not want you to get in the game. We're going to be the house of all the streaming subscribers. And, a lot of the news this week was a lot of podcasters getting their video podcasts to start showing up on Netflix now. So Netflix is trying to be the hub of all things which is really, really remarkable. And then you get maybe, this old tweet that I found. Maybe there was writing on the wall all along, as that same lead coder of Kingmakers last year replied to a tweet about theories as to why Netflix is dominating with this response as stated. When Netflix launches the show, they don't have to wonder if it might upset a theme park guest or one of the 100 divisions of some massive corporate entity. They only have to worry about what's best for Netflix. That sounds like some of the
point.
Wasn't that some of the main reasons why, Electronic Arts wanted to move away? They didn't feel like they needed to impress the shareholders. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a food for thought for the gamers.
When it comes to that, I mean, can't really argue with that logic.
Yeah.
It
So if
pretty
you get
sound.
full creative freedom to also work with Netflix, and then you're also giving full faith into these amazing film actors to bring that on screen, I think that's like truly, truly badass, considering that it's Sean Levy's, production team that's going to be making this happen. Production company, excuse me. They're called 21 Laps, and so they're going to be a part of it. So that is. It is really, I would think it's exciting time for that studio to be like, holy cow, we got Netflix's back to cover our ass on a game that's not even out yet, and they think it's going to be the next biggest hit. That is really, really cool. And then you get comments like this: Kingmakers movie on Netflix, Medieval Knights versus M4s, tanks, and airstrikes. This is going to be the most chaotic historical action ever. Take my subscription. Hey, don't ever diss Assassin's Creed, goddammit. Don't you do it. They were there first. But yeah, I mean, I would watch the show. I think it would be pretty fun and quirky if they can get it down right. Like if they can nail it towards what we kind of saw with the Street Fighters teaser, in a sense. Like, I was really nervous about that Street Fighter movie, but then once I saw it, I was like, you know what? I think they're having some playful banter with this. And I think if Kingsmaker can deliver on that same idea, maybe it could work. But if they get too serious about it,
they really have to go and lean into the campiness. Really, is what it is.
Yeah, it's something that I kind of wish Twisted Metal TV series would do a little bit better with. But hey, we got Kingsmaker to make it finally happen. And then the last comment reads: as a gamer, in my opinion, this scratches my brain perfectly. I love systems where choices actually matter. I'm hoping they don't dumb it down, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be, some of the concerns that we just kind of addressed. And so, do you
definitely could.
Yeah, and so, HenricK, do you think Netflix's move with Kingsmaker shows they're serious about actually developing video games, or are they just looking to adapt gaming into a cinematic universe?
Yeah, I don't think that they're just based on the fact that they made such a big move in buying Warner Brothers and didn't consider the video game side of Warner Brothers. I don't think that this is even this an example of them saying, yeah, we do want to develop video games.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Warner Brothers is such a bigger deal than this for their video game division. And if they looked at that and said no, yeah, it's not going to happen pretty much ever. That they're going to really be focusing on video games. But adaptations, that's a different story.
Yeah, and then you also get some of the people that are going to be a part of this team to make this happen, and that is Story Kitchens. They are a group that's also behind the Sonic movie series. So if you really like the Sonic movie series, this movie might be for you. Or TV series, we really don't even know yet. Actually, we do know. Excuse me. Movie deal. Come on, Chris.
Yeah.
But they're also going to be working on the upcoming Tomb Raider, and they also are going to be working on Life is Strange TV shows and other gaming projects, they're saying. So does that get you excited? Let us know, because do you think Netflix's moves here show they're serious about actually developing video games, or are they just more interested in turning games into that cinematic universe? Let us know what's good. But HenricK, take us home for the season 10 finale of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show, because it wouldn't be Patch Notes without a Reddit debate. Get it going.
And they're at it again, all united, this time to confess which games were only fun when you completely ignored the developer's intentions and played them, quote, wrong. These are the games that immediately got better once players broke the rules, the balance, or the entire vibe. You're walking around, all of a sudden, instead of playing the actual campaign, you turn to your friend and you shoot them in the back.
Yeah,
That
like
sort of
why
thing.
aren't you killing in Fortnite? Why are you still fishing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Totally wrong.
Yeah. So, gamers, what's the game you only enjoyed after throwing the manual at the window? I can think
Yeah.
of one, but I know we got some comments, so let's go
Yeah,
through those first.
let's see what Reddit had to say. The first one is, I used to play GTA 4 with a roommate by killing as many LCPD as possible before accidentally killing a civilian and then ending the round. Then we would trade the controller and the next person would take their turn while you kept score for them. It would always devolve into a high-speed chase where you have to be extremely careful you don't run anyone over. If you hit a car or a person, you had to keep them in your camera view until they got up, and then the scorekeeper would let you drive off. It was so fun. That's a different approach.
Yeah, GTA is a great choice for that sort of thing.
But
You
I
can
feel like
do
it was
so many
made. I mean,
things.
his angle is definitely very different. I think that
Oh,
developers
yeah.
made it so you need to run from the law. But yeah, everybody's got their different quirkiness, and yeah, the days where we grew up on the split screen era. Clearly, GTA 4 wasn't that. But, it's like, come on, man. Hand over the sticks, man. I'm tired of watching you. I want to play. I want to play. But let's keep it moving because the next one says, I only play first-person shooter games like Halo and Call of Duty for the campaigns. This has made a lot of people I know very, very angry.
Oh, I'm sure that it did because while especially Halo has been known for having really good campaigns, and a lot of the COD campaigns are also really good, they're really more popular with the multiplayer side, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, were you really excited for Black Ops 7 and that campaign? I mean,
Oh,
do we
no.
really have to indulge in that all over
Was
again?
not.
I mean, when I think of Halo, I think of the campaigns. I mean, yeah, I had the multiplayer experience, but I always think campaign first over
Mhm.
multiplayer experience. So, like, I don't know if I'm necessarily vibing with that. And then Call of Duty, I mean, I somewhat get it. I mean, they were really, really good back in the day. Like World at War was an amazing campaign story. A little
Oh, yeah.
short in a sense, but it's good. But yeah, over the years, they've become unforgettable. And so, like, if you
Mhm.
really are truly buying it for the campaign, I kind of, like, scratch my noggin, like, really? Really? Okay.
Yeah, because they really are just forgettable, really.
They are, and they're just really geared towards, like, one-year runs of multiplayer experience. But then
Yep.
I never entered an Oblivion gate in Elder Scrolls Oblivion, despite how long I played. I feel like you're not the only one. I feel it's a grind. It's a grind. But was
It's
it
like the same with Skyrim, where a lot of people never actually went and beat the final boss, Alduin.
But is that really playing the game the wrong way, or just a skill issue, though, Henrik?
It could be a little bit of both, but the games, both Oblivion and
You
Skyrim,
are being
so
way too
massive.
nice. You're being way too
So-
nice. You know damn well that's a skill issue. Well, let's keep it moving. Left 4 Dead. Me and my high school buddies would play online, and we named our tactic Left 4 Dead. You are only allowed to sprint to the safe room. You can only help people if they are in front of you. If you have to turn around and then you leave them for dead, somehow we won 95% of our matches. That's funny.
Hey, that's pretty good. That's a good win rate right there.
Yeah, I haven't played Left 4 Dead in years. I know people were excited during the Game Awards that the studio that made that iconic, IP has finally got their next, installment, and just an amazing group of developers are hoping to show the case to the world very, very soon. But yeah, I mean, I think that's different. Maybe you have to jump back and load up that Xbox 360 all over again and get back into that grindhouse all over again. I mean, I miss those kind of zombie runs. Maybe that is how you should be playing it after you beat the game numerous times. And then you get comments like this. Stardew Valley is meant to be a cozy game you play at your own pace. My pace is decidedly not cozy, with the follow-up comment that reads, Stardew Valley is definitely the most stress-inducing cozy game I ever bought. Thought I'd chill and farm. Felt like I was doing calculus to manage my time and maximize crop growth.
Pulling out
funny.
the spreadsheets and everything. Yeah. People can get like that if they want to, but that's
you're
the
like,
beauty
this is
of that
not
game.
blueprints. This is not blueprints. What the hell? Why do I have to pull out my notepad? Golly, man, this is too much effort in a video game. And then NASCAR games. When I was a kid, yeah, we played them regular, but man, turning around and seeing who could cause the worst crash was a blast and a half. And I can't think of the guy's Instagram channel right now, but there's literally a dude that's all he does on his channel is just wreck mayhem. You probably see it, HenricK.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And they are hilarious. I just would hate to be in that race. But to watch it, yeah, I love a good demon on the NASCAR track. But HenricK, what's the game that you absolutely played the wrong way, ignored every tutorial prompt, and somehow had the most fun of your life doing it?
I'm going to say if you've ever played Fable, so that series,
yeah, that's been a little, yeah.
You get to do all sorts of things in that game.
Fable 3 was great.
Oh, actually, funny you say that. I didn't like Fable 3 that much when I first played it. So what I did instead is I just went around and was just a jerk to everyone.
I think that's how you're supposed to play it. I was too.
Maybe that is how you're supposed to play it.
That's funny. Yeah, or that reminds me of like Skyrim or Fallout. It's like, why am I just like chopping everybody off before I'm even exploring the lore of the story of people? I'm like, yeah, no choice. Bang, cut.
And then you find out later on that you killed some important people.
Yeah, I know. And then you're like, oh, shoot. Do I really want to go back on the multiple quick saves that I have in my Fallout universe?
Yeah.
Or, Skyrim experience? Maybe not. I'm actually thinking of something that was just brand new. A game that we covered on Pause or Repeat. And that's Arc Raiders. And hear me out. The developers never designed the game to be a player faction game until this community-driven faction war started. You might have heard of it, or again, it started with the streamer named The Burnt Peanut, and he's got his bungulators. I'm telling you, there are matches here and there where if you're not wearing the right skin, they will toy with you. They will mess with you. They will check your ranks. They will, you know what I mean? So I feel like that is one of the more hilarious experiences that I've had in a long time. I love dressing up as the old man when I'm out there, and even that doesn't help me out. You know what I mean? So if you don't have the proper cosmetic, HenricK, not even a Raider hatch key will save you from returning to Speranza. But then we want to hear from you, the gamers. I mean, what's the game you absolutely did not play the way it was intended, but somehow had the most fun breaking it anyway? Let us know what's good. But man, I can't believe it. 10 seasons of Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. 17 episodes alone for this season. It's an incredible ride, and we can't thank you, the gamers, for always tuning in live every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, wherever you're tuning in, whether that was Meta, Twitch, or YouTube. And we just want to do one last shout out for everybody that is not following our glorious, beautiful, engaging YouTube channels. You're going to want to, because obviously the winter break's coming up. We're going to be off for a couple weeks, and we're going to see a lot of y'all in the new year. So take the moment to scan the QR code, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show.
And go ahead and scan this QR code on the screen there, that glorious QR code. That goes to my YouTube channel, where there's tons of content, all just waiting for you to watch. So go watch some videos and stay tuned for what comes next.
That's right. But man, this has been such a fun show. We can't thank all of y'all so much. Have a wonderful time with family, friends, and loved ones, and just cherish the moment, And whether you're not going to be with your loved ones during the holidays, link up through video games. That is like one of the best experiences that I always look forward to in the winter break.
Even if you are going to be with family, set aside some time to play some video games. That's the time to do so.
Yeah, controllers never get let go. We'll see you in the new year. Peace.
See ya.